The 60s were so dangerous. No airbags, no seatbelts. Just a hunk of fucking metal flying down the road, smoking cigarettes, drinking booze. The good old days.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Stassi.
I'm Steven.
And today, Steven will be watching The Graduate for the first time. I'm going to see what Steven knows about The Graduate, if anything. I'll give a few details about the movie. We'll go watch the movie, and then we'll come back, and Steven will give his review. Sound good? What do you know about The Graduate?
Not a whole lot. I know that it's an old movie. Obviously, I've never seen it. I know that it's a acclaimed movie. A lot of people have it on, top movies you should watch lists, so I know Dustin Hoffman's in it, and it's the poster has like the woman's leg with Dustin Hoffman standing there. Honestly, that's about all I know about the movie.
Yeah, so it is an old movie. It came out in 1967. It does star Dustin Hoffman. You also have Katharine Ross, and of course Anne Bancroft. The movie was directed by Mike Nichols, and it was produced by Lawrence Turman.
I don't know who any of those people are other than Dustin Hoffman. Okay, everyone, I'm going to go watch The Graduate. We'll record our reaction, and I'll come right back and give you my review. Stick around.
Steven, you've seen The Graduate. Please give a synopsis.
All right, let me tell you what this movie's about. You got this guy, Ben, played by Dustin Hoffman. He comes back to LA from college where he just graduated. Everyone's asking him, what does he want to do in his life? His dad's like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know. His parents have a party because he came home. All their old friends are there. They're all asking him about his life. He's like, I don't know. And then Mrs. Robinson. Now, this broad, she's smoking cigarettes, she's drinking booze, she's like, give me a ride home, Ben. Takes her home, she's like, come in and turn the lights on. He comes in, flips the lights, she's like, let's go have a drink. He's like, the fucking lights are on. And then the line, which I knew with the leg, with him saying the leg, Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. Yeah, she wants to fuck, and she wants to fuck him good. He says no at first.
Yes.
She doesn't really respect it. In an act of what some may consider nowadays to be sexual assault or harassment, she strips naked in front of him, and then her husband comes home right at the same time, and he rushes downstairs, and that ends that. Then some other shit happens, and basically he's like, you know what, I do kind of want to fuck her, so he calls her up, they meet at a hotel, and they fuck. And then they fuck. Should I stop saying fuck so much?
No.
They bang?
Either one is good.
Okay, they bang, and so eventually he decides that, he does want to bang her, so he calls her up. They go, meet at a hotel, have a drink, get a room, and bang, and then it sort of goes into like a montage of him just like, he's sort of like this weird, sort of nerdy dude, and then like as soon as he gets laid, he's laying in the pool drinking beer, wearing sunglasses, tan, and he just becomes like super chill about it, and you're just like, okay, this is cool. And and then Mrs. Robinson and Mr. Robinson's daughter, Elaine, who Ben knew from high school, then comes home later on after he's already banged her mom, a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And the mom's one rule is like, don't go on a date with my daughter. So, of course, he goes on a date with her when she comes back. And it was really weird. He's like trying to like piss her off. So he takes her to like a burlesque thing, and the chick's got the tassels on her boobs, spinning them around, and she starts crying. She gets all sad, and so then he feels bad, so then they go get a burger, and in the act of eating a hamburger with her, he falls in love with her, and then he decides that they're going to get married, but the mom, Mrs. Robinson's like, if you go near my daughter again, I'm going to tell her what we did. So then he goes in and basically comes out, and she takes off back to Berkeley. And then he's like, well, I'll just be like us. Again, this guy, Ben, he's kind of weird. Like, he gets chill for maybe like 2 months of the summer there. And then he's like, well, I'll just go to Berkeley and, stalk Elaine because I love her so much that I'm going to marry her, even though we only went on one date and I made her cry and then we ate a fucking hamburger at Sonic. So he goes to Berkeley and, stalks her, like runs after a bus, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing here? She's dating some other dude named like Chuck or something, I don't remember. And this whole like Berkeley scene happens, and then basically she decides that she's gonna like marry this Chuck dude, and then the end is like they're at a wedding, and Dustin Hoffman, Ben, is like driving his car up and down the California coast from like LA to fucking Berkeley to fucking Santa Barbara all in like one day. It doesn't really make any sense. And he finds the church somehow that they're getting married at, and he's banging on the window. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, a church brawl breaks out because Elaine wants to go with Ben, even though, again, they've been on one date, and he was kind of a dick to her. And also, she thinks that he raped her mom because Mrs. Robinson tells her that he raped her at the hotel, not that she seduced him. So, for some reason, she loves Ben more than the guy that she's literally marrying at the time. And then Mrs. Robinson just smacks the shit out of Elaine a couple times, and Ben takes the cross off the church and is, like, swinging at people like a fucking, like they're zombies or something trying to keep him back, yeah. And then they just get on a bus and the movie ends.
That's it?
Yeah,
That's it?
that's it.
So what was your favorite part of the movie?
Okay, well, one thing that I really liked was the music. It's all Simon and Garfunkel. There's a lot of classic songs that are still played today.
So this is like where all those songs came from?
Yeah.
Is this movie?
Yeah.
So they didn't take an album and
No, it was all written for this movie.
get the fuck out of here.
Also, it had really good comedy bits. You've got the bits between Ben and his parents, like where he's wearing the scuba gear and walking, and they're just being weird. And then, like, some of the shit, like when he's debating whether to bang Mrs. Robinson, and he's banging his head against the wall, and, just some good, funny, like, awkward comedy that I think back then really hadn't. Nowadays, they're a dime a dozen, but back then hadn't really been seen that much in movies. Also, just, like, how this movie back in the 60s would have been seen as, like, so risque. Like,
Yeah.
like she's stripping, she's putting on her leggings. They, like, when she first gets naked, they, like, flash her nipples, but for like, literally, like,
It's
one frame.
A millisecond. Yeah.
And so, like, I'm sure, like, back in the day, back in the 60s, people, it was, like, really a big
Yeah.
deal. Nowadays,
It's like nothing now.
Yeah.
It's like it's a rip-off.
That's actually, like, another thing that I liked is, like, how the movies, it reminded me of, like, the show Mad Men. Like, you got, like, the cars that don't have airbags or seatbelts. He's just ripping around, Pacific Coast Highway. Just sort of the feel of the whole time period is also what I liked a lot.
What was your least favorite part of the movie?
I have a few. Again, the story with the Elaine-Ben relationship of one date falling in love was weird.
Bruh, you've been on one date.
He's obsessed.
Also, just the way that Ben is just, like, such a weirdo. Like, he really doesn't have any reason to be. Like, he's obviously, white in the 60s. No, I'm just kidding. Although that was a big plus. Like, his family's wealthy. He's got a nice car. He went to college. His dad's, like, a lawyer or some shit. And he's just sort of, like, this weird guy who is just sort of like a wimp. And it's like, come on, man, really? Like, I get that he's, like, 21, but, I mean, you just got back from college.
It's the weight of the expectations, man. They're like, what's next? Like,
I don't know. He's
law
but
school,
he's just.
graduate school.
I guess so. He's just sort of, and the way that like honestly, I when he was laying in the pool drinking beer, I was like, okay, now he's chill, and then he just goes back to being a fucking weirdo, and so just some of that. Also, I felt like the movie kind of dragged a little bit in the Berkeley part when he's there and renting a room, and she's there with the other guy, and all that, and that part, the beginning of it when he's having the fling with Mrs. Robinson and it's cutting and doing the music stuff, that part was like the pacing of it felt a lot better than the Berkeley part. And then probably like my last main point of dislike or critique of the movie is just being so old. Some of the stuff I feel like didn't really age that well. For example, the blood test thing where they're like, let's go get a blood test before we get married. I didn't understand what the hell was happening. Stassi had to explain it to me, and I still don't even really understand. But yeah, that sort of cuts both ways because I liked how it was, an older looking movie. Like all the appliances and shit look like my grandma's house, and you know, the phones and the cigarettes and everybody just smoking everywhere. It's like Mad Men, like I said before, but then just the things that aren't relevant now.
Right.
It didn't age.
Didn't translate.
Yeah, it didn't translate as well as it could have. Exactly.
Yeah. Would you watch the movie again?
I mean, if you really wanted to, I would watch it again with you. But would I sit down by myself with every movie that's available since 1967 and be like, let's watch this one again? If I was drunk enough, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like in a few years, when we're going to revisit it. I first saw it in a film class in college, so it's been a few years since I've seen it.
That's sort of how I feel it may, because it, like I said, back then, when it came out, it was probably pretty revolutionary.
Yeah.
In that, they had the music made just for it. They had the actors who, obviously Dustin Hoffman's a great actor. All the other actors, I can't even fucking remember their names, but they were great. Most of them are probably dead now. And so yeah, I could see how like you'd see it in a film class or something to study of like how to do certain things in a movie, but just I probably wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, there's a reason you hadn't watched it.
Yes.
So now it's time for you to guess the budget of the film and also the box office number. Now, this is not adjusted for inflation, so this is like back then.
Dollars back then.
Yeah,
So
from my understanding, at least from my research, that's.
So I'm guessing in 1967.
Yeah.
Dollars.
Right.
How much it cost and how much it made.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna go $5 million to make the movie, and it made $20 million.
So the budget was $3 million.
Okay.
And it made almost $105 million.
Get the fuck out of here. 105?
Yeah. North American.
Damn, dude. That's, in today's money, that's like some Jeff Bezos shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, maybe not that much, but that's...
Yeah. It did
So
really
that would be
well.
like $1 billion movie today.
Yeah, or something.
Probably.
Something close to that, yeah.
It'd be like a huge blockbuster. Wow. That... Okay, so yeah. Wow.
I think it made Dustin Hoffman, like, famous. I think that was the role that, like...
Yeah. That and the nose.
The upward... Yeah.
His face is like 47% nose.
Well, so he was 21, or he had just turned 21 in the movie. When he filmed it, he was almost 30.
I was going to say, they kept saying this dude's 21. I'm like, he looks like a 35-year-old
Yeah.
man. Like,
yeah. No, he was almost 30. And he was, like, much closer in age to, like, Mrs. Robinson or Anne Bancroft.
Yeah, good for him.
So.
Good for him.
Yeah. So what do you think the critic and audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes are for The Graduate?
I would say the critics gave it like an 85, and the audience gave it like an 80.
Okay. Critics,
Well, no, wait, hold on. Now that I know that it made $100 million, I want to revise that.
Okay.
So the critics gave it a 88, and the audience gave it like a 92.
You're pretty darn close.
I was close?
Sweet.
Okay.
Critics, 87.
Okay.
And audience, 90.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I know that's the next question. And I would say,
so
I would
then
give it
what
like a
would yours-
70. Just, yeah, it's like a C. It's a C, solid.
What?
Just, yeah, C minus. I mean, it's all, like, I understand how it pioneered things for future movies and was like, again, I would say it again, it was probably very groundbreaking at its release. However, now, with the amount of other stuff that has come since then, not even just like special effects wise, but I mean, just the way like...
What, the movie, it's 43 years old. Is my math right?
53 years old. Yeah.
It's 53 years old.
That's what I'm saying. So way
Jesus.
back when the movie came out, I can see it was groundbreaking. I'm just saying nowadays, other stuff, when I rank it against that, plus, yeah, 70. I don't agree that it's not a B plus A minus movie. It's a solid C. So that's it. There's my review for The Graduate after watching it for the very first time. I hope you enjoyed. If you like the way that we watch new movies and review movies here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click that notification button so that you will know when we post new videos.
And don't forget to comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Also, any suggestions of movies that one or both of us may have not seen yet, please let us know and we'll watch them.
Yeah, if you think The Graduate's great, go ahead, argue with me in the comments. Go watch more of our movies. It's coronavirus time. The world is ending. You're at home. You're on your phone or iPad or you're pooping. Watch more of our videos. Tell us what you want to see. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
So you would have been all over Mrs. Robinson?
Dude, he's single.
As a
doesn't have
21-year-old.
He doesn't have a girlfriend. It's not like he's doing anything wrong. She wants to fuck him. She's like, go get us a hotel room. And he's just being a total wimp about it.
But it's his dad's partner's wife.
Who gives a fuck?